Hello, my name is Eduardo, and well, this is the app that we are going to work today. Okay, it is a very simple spaceship, and it is in the middle of the screen. Okay, and we are like firing. Well, I haven't worked with enemies, but I guess the most difficult part in this case, it is just the first part to set this thing. In this video, I will show you how to center the sprite. Okay, talking about horizontally and vertically. Okay, how to set it, how to use the in this case the heading to fire the ball in the direction that the ship is facing. Well, so that is all, and I hope you enjoy this tutorial. So let's start with the tutorial. Hello, my name is Eduardo, and I am here with another tutorial for App Inventor. And today, as you could see, we are going to make a very simple spaceship game for App Inventor. Okay, well, let's start with this. So to do this, let's go to screen number 2 and let's start to work with everything again. Okay, well, first let's check the properties of the screen. If you check in the previous video, it was like portrait mode, but now today we're going to change that. Okay, so let's change the orientation to landscape, just to give you a different option. Now we need to go here to drawing an animation, and we're going to add a canvas. We are going to set the size of the canvas to fill parent. Okay, fill parent and fill parent. Yes, now we need a sprite, image sprite. This is going to be for our spaceship. Okay, so and we can rename it to spaceship sprite. In Spanish, spaceship is like nave, so better use nave, it's shorter. Nave sprite. Okay, then we have the canvas. Let's start with the first stuff. We are going to need an image for the sprite. You can use anything you want. So I have here a spaceship, okay, and I will share with you that spaceship. I'm not sure if it's here. It is something like this, okay. It is a spaceship, or spaceship. I guess the one, it's this one. I will share it with you. Okay, it is 256 pixels. Okay, it is a square. Well, we have the image over here, and we are going to use it for the sprite. Go here to the properties of the sprite, then you select picture and then spaceship, and that's it. Here we have this. Now let's change the color of the canvas to black. Oh, this spaceship is not transparent. It's because I have this one. It's the other one, so it's the nave, because I removed the background using GIMP. And that's it. Now it's transparent. Quite big, quite big. Okay, now let's go to the blocks and let's start with some things. The first thing that we need to think about this is to place the ship in the middle of the screen. Okay, so to do that, we're going to create first a procedure, and we're going to call it nave resizing and position. Okay, so we are going to use this to set the the starting position for the spaceship. Well, we're going to set the image. First, we are going to start with the width of the sprite. So we're going to use here some very simple math formulas. Okay, so we're going to use here, based on the percentage of the screen, we are going to set the size. Okay, so to do that, well, we call here the nav sprite, the width, and we're going to use this to multiply the value. We're going to use the percentage. Okay, so we go then to canvas, and then in canvas we're going to select the, if it's width, canvas width. Go here. Okay, so now to get the percentage we have to multiply this. So if I want my spaceship to be, talking about the width, maybe the 20% of the canvas, we have to set it like 0.2. This is the 20%. But if I want it to be like the 50% of the screen, talking about the width, well, it will be like 0.5. Or 100% using all the space, it is equal to 1. Okay, that means that is the 100%. Well, in this case I want it to be, let's try with the 20%, so 0.2. Then let's check it, let's do it to see what happened in the app. It looks super big. Okay, talking about the width, you don't pay attention to the height. So now let's set it to maybe 15%. That will be 0.5, and maybe, okay, it looks better. And remember that my image of my spaceship is a square, so let's set it to maybe to 10%. So for that it is something like 0.1. If I am, oops, I exaggerate, it is 0.1. That is the 10%, sorry. Yes, that looks better. Now we want to make it like a square, so to do that we're going to go to Nav Sprite, and now we're going to select the height. So if it's a square, it has to be the same as the width of the spaceship. So we are going to take here this block, the width, and we are going to insert it here. Okay, so we are using the same width for the height. Okay, this value, so to make it a perfect square. So let's do it, and looks pretty good. Okay, now it is not in the correct position. To do that, we're going to make something similar. We're going to go to Nave, and then we are going to find X. So we want to be, we want our spaceship to be in the middle of the screen. To do that, first we are going to go here, and we're going to make another percentage procedure. Okay, with the canvas. So we can just duplicate this one, duplicate, and we want it to be the X position in the middle of the canvas. So the middle is like the 50%, so 0.5. So let's do it. Okay, almost. Why not in the middle? Because remember, the position of the objects, App Inventor, it's taking like the origin of the image, like in the upper left corner of the image. Okay, so if we're a square, it is in the upper part. Okay, on the left. So we need to divide here to add another thing. We need to subtract here. Oh, sorry, I was like this one. It's here minus. We're going to divide the width of the screen of the spaceship. Okay, so we're going to use this guy, duplicate. Okay, Nav Sprite, we're going to divide it by 2. So, and in that case, we will have it perfectly placed in the middle of the screen. So let's do it. And yes, check the little difference. Okay, so it's in the middle now. Now to do that, we're going to place it in the middle. Talking about the height of the screen, we're going to do the same. So we are going to duplicate. Just press the right button on your mouse. Oh, sorry. and then duplicate, then drag it here, and now it's for the y-axis. Then change it here to height, and here to height. So let's do it, and that it's in the middle. Okay, now what happened? Sometimes I had some problems with App Inventor when loads the app, okay, the default values, because you might say, oh well, why don't you insert this in screen initialize, okay, this procedure, and that's it. Sometimes I do it, but sometimes it's not working. I don't know, maybe App Inventor it's working in other stuff, you know, with images. Sometimes it is not like resizing everything. Okay, for example, there it's perfect. But sometimes when you add more things to the screen, okay, it is not like resizing. So to avoid mistakes with resizing or position, we're going to add a clock. This clock is going to help us to make sure that all the initial values are loaded. Okay, so we are going to disable this, and we are going to set it to let's say 80. Okay, check for example the position here. Well, the clock is in 80, and we're going to go here. We are going to remove this. We're not going to use the screen initialize right now. So then we are going to use the clock. Maybe the clock we need to rename it. Rename it for loading default. So it's going to load the default values. So, and we're going to drag the procedure over here. But now, if we just set it like there, and check my spaceship is not like now it's not precise, and I have to do it with the clock. To make sure, we're going to try to set the value different times. Okay, for that we are going to create a value that we are going to call it counter, and the counter we're going to set it to 0. Then we're going to use something here, an if condition in control. You press it, and it is the if condition. Then we are going to check, the condition is if, in math you go for this, and then you say if the counter value is less than, let's say 5, we're going to try to load this 5 times, okay, to avoid any mistake. Okay, we're going to do this procedure 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. Okay, so, and we are going to increase this value. Okay, so set this guy here, and we're going to increase it every time we load it, or the clock ends its cycle. We're going to increase this value by 1. So we set it to 1, and it will move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and when it gets 5, okay, so we are going to disable the clock. By the way, we need to enable the clock, but well, we're going to do that in the initialize block. We are going to disable this. If it's less than 5, continue repeating the blocks. But if you get to something bigger than 5, disable the clock. So, and that's it. We stop this kind of loop. Okay, now what we need now, it is to use the screen initialize just to load the clock. Okay, or to enable the clock. Here, just by the right button, duplicate, true. When we initialize, we will have that thing. So now let's check it. Let's refresh the screen. Let's try here 1 or something, and then it's doing that 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's really fast. Okay, so, and now we are sure that we have loaded the default values. Yeah, sure. Okay, well, that thing. Well, this was a mistake because it was with the loop, but well. So I guess it's okay. Now we have this clock that is loading the defaults screen. The spaceship is correctly placed and scaled. Now we need to work. Okay. Now that what it's next, it is this thing. If you remember the video, I was rotating the spaceship. So to do that, we are going to start with drag. Okay, I was moving the spaceship just when I move my finger up and down. Okay, well, drag up or drag down. So in that case, we're going to use the drag from the canvas, these drag blocks, and it's pretty simple. To rotate a sprite, we're going to use the heading property. Okay, so we're going to set the image heading. Okay, and we're going to create another variable here in variables. Let's initialize another variable, and it will be like the global heading. Okay, and we're going to set it just to 0. And now this one, the sprite heading, okay, it will be changed. Okay, while we use the drag option, or we move the finger upwards and downwards. Okay, to do that, we're going to add here some little math, some simple math. Okay, so we're going to modify the sprite heading here, drop it like there. Okay, and we're going to increase this value, but we're going to use these properties that we have here. Okay, so check, we are going to use here plus, let's use this, plus, in this case we want to use the up and down. Okay, so we are going to use star y minus the current y. In that case we will have some clear values, but if you check now, okay, let's see what's happening in the app. Okay, so let's see, I drag, oh, but it's like crazy. So how to fix that? Because it's really fast. Well, we're going to divide this value. You can use different values, but for me works okay. 2 divided by 2. That's it. Let's try it again and check if it's better. If you want it to be faster, well, you can use a smaller number like 1.5 or something. Okay, up my finger, down my finger. Okay, well, now we are going to use this value that we obtained from the heading. Okay, and we are going to use it as a global heading. So we are going to use here this. I will explain you why. We duplicate. Now we have this value. Now we need to create a bullet or space bullet. To do that, let's go here to designer, and then we go to drawing and animation, and let's drag a ball. Okay, let's change the color to orange or white. Okay, so I guess orange it's okay, or maybe red. Let's set it to red. If you check, it's over there. Now we need to place it. And we need to check the position. If you check, the ball is over the spaceship, and we don't want it to be there. Okay, but first let's position the spaceship. To do that, we are going to load this procedure here. We're going to create something similar about resizing and scaling, okay, for the ball. Well, the ball, we can change the radius, and we can change it here in the designer. It's easier. So let's change it to maybe 9. Okay, we have over there 9. It's a big ball. Now, what about the position? The position, it is quite the same. We need to do the same, well, almost the same, because it's a ball. Okay, first the width. We don't have width, we have the radius. Okay, so no problem for the height. Then we go for the position. The position of the ball has to be here. Set the ball 1x. Okay, and we're going to use something similar to this. So we can duplicate this, right button in the mouse, okay, and then we are going to change some things that are not necessary. For example, we are not talking about the width, so we are going to talking about the radius. So, and it is in the middle, so let's make let's do it, and I guess it's in the middle. Now it's in the middle. Then we are going to duplicate this guy. Okay, remember to duplicate, just use your mouse button, the right one, then duplicate. Now we change the values to y, and here y we use height. We do it, and it's in the middle. Okay, well, quite the middle. And now what is necessary? Well, we need right now, I guess in this case it's not necessary the radius, divide the radius. So let's use just here this one, because it's a ball. So let's see what happens if we do that, because the radius is just half of the circle. So do it. Yes, sorry for that. Okay, in Sprite, yes, it's necessary, but the radius, it is actually the half of the ball. Well, we have this. That's perfect position, and now we need to drag it to our clock. Okay, so let's go here to procedures. Let's rename it to ball position. So this is the initial position. So we need to drag this guy here, ball position, and we're going to drag it over here, and that's it. But now, if you check the position of the, well, the bullet, it is over our spaceship. To fix that, let's go here, and then we are going to change a property, the Z value in the spaceship. Select the spaceship, the nave, and then here in Z, change it to 2 or a higher number. Let's wait, and that's it. Now our bullet, it is under the spaceship. Okay, so well, and ball, well, obviously it is in number 1. Now let's work now with, what about if we want to fire this bullet? Well, to do that, we are going to use the touch up. Why the touch up? Because while we are dragging, we are touched down over the screen, and then when we remove the finger, when we are ready to fire, so we are like touching up the finger. Okay, so let's say here, let's go to canvas, and let's use touch up. And now, to do that, we need to create another variable. We need to check if we are shooting. Okay, just if the ball is moving or firing or something, is shooting. Okay, let's change it to is ball, well, not shooting, let's change it to is ball moving. So it's like a question, and let's set it to false. We need to detect if the ball is moving or not, just to avoid problems, because that means that we won't be able to modify any value from the ball while it's moving. Okay, so if it's not moving, well, we can do that. Well, now let's drag another if condition here in control, if, and then we are going to check. We are going to use here logic. Here in logic, we use this one to compare some values, and if the ball is moving, it is false. Okay, if it's not moving, so that means that we can shoot, okay, or fire. Okay, we are going to change the heading of the ball. So the ball heading, let's see what's happening. The ball heading, it's over here, and we're going to use the global heading. Well, that, remember that it's the value that we take from the spaceship heading. Okay, then if this is like true, okay, we set the value, and then we are going to go here to change the ball speed. So we are going to set ball speed, and just to practice, let's set it to 10, something not very fast. And then we are going to change the status of this variable. So now it is moving because we fire. So if it's moving, okay, now we are going to change this to true. Yes, we change it to true, and that's it. I guess it's okay. So now let's see what's happening here. So let's drag and let's touch up. Oops, check. Now it is going to another part. So well, first we have some problems here. If you check the ball now, it is on the corner. Okay, so it just stop on the at the edge of the screen. Okay, so we need to fix this thing. And the other thing, that it was firing to another part. First, let's fix the part about staying on the edge. So to do that, let's go here to the ball, and then if the ball get to an edge, so we are going to what? We are going to call this ball position. Okay, we are going to reset the ball position, and that's it. But now it's firing. So now why? Because check, we need to change some other values. First, now the direction. Okay, so then we stop the ball. What about the direction? Let's load again this, refresh, to see what is the initial position, just to make sure, to help you understand this. So I just touch, and it's going here like 90 degrees more, okay, or less. So we need to change the original value about 90 degrees, okay, just to fix its heading. To do that, let's go to the global heading that we have here obtaining from the spaceship, and we are going to increase this value by 90 degrees. So we set it to 9, and let's see what happens. Let's set this, do it. Well, let's wait for that. Let's refresh the screen a little bit. Let's fire. Ah, sorry, there is another mistake over here. We need to work with, let me check. Well, when we get to this position, we need to stop the ball speed. So we set it to 0. Okay, and now just if we shoot, okay, when we get the edge, we set this to that thing, and we need to say, hey, you know what, ball is not moving anymore, false. Okay, and we set to the original position, and every time we touch up, that's it. Okay, so we set the values, and now we need to do one more thing. We need to set the heading. We duplicate this one, because if the spaceship is continuously moving, we need to get its value. Okay, so we have it over there, and now we go here. So I guess that's almost all the things, and now we just need to check some other things. If we have touch up, so now we set to false. If it's to false, let's move it here, and we need to set the speed about this thing. Okay, it's equal to false. Then the ball heading, it will take this value. Then we have the speed, the edge, the position is reset, and I guess it's almost done. Maybe I am missing. Let me check what I am missing. If this is like that, global heading, I guess we are okay. Global heading, Sprite, okay. Ball 1 heading, ball 1 speed, okay. And we need to change this. We need to check what happens with this value. Now it's true. It's thinking that the ball is moving, but it's not moving. So let's do this one. And now we have it over there. And that's it. We just needed to refresh, sorry. Okay, well, let's go here. Let's refresh the screen. And we fire over there. We fire over there. We fire over there. Now, if you check the first ball, it was like going to another part. Okay, that's why we need to set its initial heading here to that. So it's global, it's moving. So let's check it here. 5. Because it's using the heading here. So global heading here, it's after dragging. So let's say here in the initial values, let's say we duplicate this one, and let me check if this fixes the problem. Global heading. Now let's check here, and that's it. But now if you check the ball, it's quite the animation is not very smooth. So to do that, we are going to go here to ball, and we are going to set the interval to 48. And for the speed, to make it more interesting, check, it looks better, just up, Now for talking about the speed, but it's quite boring just to have the same speed, okay, for the ball. So let's do that. Let's add here, go to math, then to random integer, and we're going to set the speed value, I don't know, from 10 to 20. So you will have different speeds, okay? So, and you are depending on that thing. For example, that's quite fast, not very fast. Maybe a little bit slower to make it harder. 7. And that's it. And maybe we need to add, just to finish this part of the tutorial, we need to add some sounds, okay? So first, let's upload some sounds, and let's go try to get some very simple sounds. And I have some here, I guess I have some, I have, for example, laser. And then you have here explosion, but we are not going to use explosion because we don't have any enemies, but maybe for the next tutorial. So, and maybe move, laser and move. I like move. I like using a move sound, okay, every time we are rotating the spaceship. Now we're going to, we have two sounds. We can use here, let's go to media, and let's go to sound. Let's drag it over here. Let's set it to 100, it's okay. Source. So for the sound number 1, we're going to set it to move. Okay. So let's add another sound here. This will be for laser, and let's set it to 100. And then we are just going to call these procedures. Well, when we fire, it is sound number 2. Is when we touch up. Okay, let's say. And that's it. And when we move is when we are rotating, we are going to drag it over here, and we just change if it's not. Maybe we can add something here for this movement, 150, not very fast maybe. And then that's it. Okay, well, the next part is just to add some enemies. So, and I'm going to do it later. Okay, I hope I have some time for this. Well, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Well, just let's check the blocks again. Remember, we had some procedures first, okay? We created this, okay? We have a canvas. It's in full screen. Well, it is like fill parent, okay, the canvas. And we have here a sprite that is transparent. And we have a ball that it's, we set it to a simple ball just to have a bullet here. Also, we changed the property of the spaceship to the z value to 2, okay, to be over the ball. The ball is under the spaceship. Then we have one clock. This clock, it is just helping us to load all the default values, okay. Then we have two sounds, and that's it. Then if you check in the blocks, the first thing that I do, it is just to resize everything and position everything in the middle. We use some simple procedures with percentage, okay. So no matter what kind of screen you are having, you will have your spaceship in the middle. Then we add a counter. This counter is helping us with the clock, okay. When we initialize the screen, the clock is enabled, and the clock starts with the counter, okay, moving 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's doing this procedure 4 times, okay, to make sure that we load the defaults. Then we have here, when we repeated this procedure 5 times, we disable this loop or this clock. Then we go to initialize a value, a new variable that is heading. Okay, so that is the way where is our ship facing. Okay, we are moving, and while we are dragging, okay, using this canvas procedure, we have the sound playing, okay, and then we have the position, the heading, okay, so the direction, and we're going to modify this using when we drag upwards or downwards, okay, it will change the value, okay, of the heading. Just to make it a little bit slower, we divide this value by 2. Okay, so you have if you wanted the rotation to be slower, well, you increase the value here. Then we have the global heading. The global heading, it is a variable that it will help us for the ball, okay, to know where to go. Here we increase this value, okay, just according to the value of the ball. So, and then we need to detect if the ball is moving. Okay, if the ball is moving, we cannot throw another ball. That is the idea, basically. Okay, so here we check if it's not moving, we can. This is the way to shoot. Okay, and you can add it to a procedure. So it is something really cool because you can have more organize your blocks. For example, this is shooting. Okay, and shooting, you can drag all the shooting, okay, to this part. Okay, so if the ball is not moving, so we can shoot. That's it. Okay, and when the ball touches the edge, we are going to what? We are going to reset the ball. Reset values, ball values. Ball values. Okay, and we can drag all these values over here. So we are going to reset the ball values, and that it's more understandable sometimes. Okay, so and then we change, and that's it. Upwards, downwards. I guess it looks pretty cool. You can make some very cool ideas with this thing. I was thinking of Spaceship, but what about if we have a zombie game? Okay, so you are in the middle and you are shooting some zombies that are trying to eat your brain. Well, that is the idea. Okay, my name is Eduardo. Okay, it was a pleasure to share with you this kind of tutorial. Please subscribe to my channel, okay, help me, share this video if it's possible with someone who's learning App Inventor like me, okay. Well, that's all. If you have any comments, suggestions, ideas, please let me know them in the comments. So I will see you next time. Goodbye.